everyone, welcome or welcome back to my channel and to today's video, which is going to be a weekly vlog. I did a vlog for all of last week for the first of 3 weeks off work, and we're back, we're here, we're doing week 2, so hopefully you enjoyed week 1. If you haven't watched it yet, I will have a link to it down below, but you don't necessarily need to have watched that one. It would just be nice if you did. To give you a brief reminder of what we're trying to achieve in these 3 weeks, so Jess, or Jashi Koren, posted this video on like how to change your life in 3 months. I'm going to start way smaller than that, and I'm just looking to improve a few habits in the 3 weeks that I have off work before I go back to work at the beginning of August. I have 2 main goals in particular. One of those is to do a fitness class or to walk 10,000 steps each day. And I pretty much achieved that for week 1. I took 1 day off of it, which I think is pretty good going for me. But we're going to aim to carry that on this week. And then the second goal is to read all of the arcs that I have outstanding. I have 4 or 5 arcs that needed to be read already. So I need to finish those this week. I feel like last week the fitness class, like 10,000 steps, went pretty well. I didn't really struggle too much with that. And that's great. That's a real win for me. Is something I do actually struggle with a lot, so I'm really happy with that. But what I do really struggle with is sitting down and reading. It's been a real challenge for me in 2025, so that one is going to have to be it needs a little bit of extra focus this month. So we're starting this vlog on Monday the 21st of July. I've had a pretty productive Monday so far. It's about 3 o'clock, I think. Yeah, 2:45, which I feel like where's the day gone? But I actually had my first therapy session today. If you watched last week's vlog, you'll know that I made contact with a therapist and was hoping to get in a session, and she fit me in, which was really kind of her. And so my sessions are going to be at 9 a.m. on Mondays. Mondays are my day off work. I went 4 days a week over a year ago, and it was like the best thing that I ever did for my mental health, to be honest. But I need a little bit of extra support right now, and I'm really hoping that therapy is going to do that. So yeah, I'm feeling optimistic. I cried for 50 minutes, but I'm feeling optimistic. You know, I think I've had therapy a number of times before, I've had counselling before, and this was the first time that I think I like truly let my emotions go, and I think that that was a real sign of how much I need some outside intervention right now. So yeah, feeling good. Also, she has a really cute dog who gets to sit in the sessions, so we love that. So I went to that and then came back, and we actually having like little bits of work that we just need doing on our house. So a guy came to repair some gutters today, so that was good. We did a couple of life admin bits, and then I went to aqua aerobics. I really love that I've managed to find an aqua aerobics class on a Monday, because aqua is my favorite sport to do, favorite fitness thing. It's just I can't even swim, but I just really like aqua. Do it in the shallow pool where it doesn't matter that I can't swim, and it's not the best way I could spend 45 minutes in terms of like my general fitness. Like, I think if I ran on a treadmill for 45 minutes it would be better, but for the enjoyment it gives me, aqua is worth it. So really pleased to have done aqua, and then I went to Asda to do some random bits of admin, and now I am home. So I think my plan, really what I should do now is read, but I want to do some other bits and pieces on my MacBook. One of those is for a kit that Beth and Anna and I need for like well into 2026 next year. So I'm going to do a little bit of work on that, I think, just for like a little bit of me time, a little bit of something I really want to do right now, because right now I don't really want to read. It's not really what I want to be doing, and whilst I do need to do it, I'm not quite ready yet. So I'm going to do that. And then I think, yeah, I'm just going to try and chill. I feel exhausted. I'm definitely pushing myself with doing these fitness classes, and like, that's great, but it is really wearing me out. So I need to just sit quietly, I think, for the rest of the day. Try not to move too much because I feel so sleepy and my body is just a bit knackered. And then tomorrow I'm going out all day shopping with my mum. We're going to White City, which is a big shopping centre. Like, I think it's the biggest shopping centre that we could go to in London. We went a few months ago, and my mum was like, I would love a whole day here. I would love to be more organised about what we're doing. So we're going to go there, which should be fun. And we're going to go and see Sing Street, the musical. It's only on until like the middle of August, I think. But they promoted it at something I was at last week, and then my mum said that we could go tomorrow, so I'm really excited for that. So I don't think I will vlog too much tomorrow, so at next point I will probably check in is Wednesday. Wednesday now. I'm gonna do a pretty quick update because I am exhausted and need to go and have a bath and have a little bit of rest time. So I think my last update was from like Monday lunchtime ish. I don't really have anything else to report from Monday. I just edited last week's vlog, and then Tuesday went shopping with my mum. It was really funny because we were sort of going as like a birthday trip for me. They just opened a Disney store and I'm a massive Disney fan, so we were going to like, you know, see if I could get anything for my birthday, and I didn't buy anything. There just wasn't anything of interest. I honestly think the Disney store there is pants. I'll be really honest, it's really small. Like, if you're there in Westfield anyway, go, but really don't make a special trip like we did. Just go to the one in Oxford Street. It's so much better. It's much better stock. The stock in this one was just, yeah, it wasn't great. I think if you had kids, it's probably slightly better, and obviously the Disney store is for kids and not for me, but in Oxford Street I've always found there to be stuff of interest for me, and it's 3 floors, whereas the one in Westfield is pretty small. So yeah, I wasn't really that impressed. But I did get a new gym bag, and I really should do this update with it, so let me go get it. So I wanted a pretty small gym bag. Like, I have a big one for my swim stuff, which is a Disney one, but I wanted a smaller one for when I'm going for classes or to the gym. And I'd seen a few online, especially Nike and Adidas do like an extra small one. So that was like the one I thought I was going to get and was kind of my aim. And we saw them pretty early on in Sports Direct, and I was like, oh, I'm actually not sure about them. Like, they're very black. And I was like, I don't actually know now if I want a black one. So we spent a lot of the day going into different stores and checking them out. And then we ended up in Deichmann. I don't know how you say that, but it's a shoe shop, but they have actually a reasonable number of bags, I have to say. And we ended up finding this one, which is a feeler one, and it's in a kind of like sage grey green. I don't think it's coming across very well on camera, but I would say in real life it's more sage green than it is grey, but on camera I think it looks grey. And I wasn't totally sure at first, but we went away and had a McDonald's to think about it, and then came back. And actually, I think I am really happy with this one. I just realised I said at the beginning of this clip that I didn't buy anything, but my brother bought me this for my birthday, so I did not technically buy anything. But yeah, I think I am pretty happy with it. It matches my water bottle pretty well, which is like a very light sage grey creamy colour. And the inside is not black, which I like, because it means I can actually see what's going on in there. It's got 2 pockets on the side, it's got a pocket at the front, it's got a pocket at the back, and then it's got like mesh pockets on either side. It's taller than I would like. That is, I would say, my sort of like downside to it, because the like Nike and Adidas ones were kind of like up to here, so it is a bit tall, but I do like it. And my mum was saying she thinks that it would be a good commuting bag because it will like squash down under the seat a bit better. So yeah, I think I am happy with it. It's also not particularly like structurally, whereas like the other ones were a lot they had a lot more shape to them, whereas this one kind of like flops down when you put it down. So that's also potentially a downside, I don't know, but it was £25, so pretty good. And yeah, I'm happy enough with it for now. So I have perfectionism, and my perfectionism really comes out when I am looking to buy something, and I will spend days, I mean seriously, it's like a full-time job for me looking for an item. And gym bags have become like my new obsession. I've like looked on every page of Vinted, and I've looked on like every sports website. Like I really have obsessed over this, so I think it's good to just have one to stop obsessing. So that was basically that. That was like our shopping trip. And then we went to see Sing Street, which is a new musical which is only running, I think, until like the 3rd week of August, something like that. And it's based on a film that I've not seen but would really like to see. But the musical was advertised at Kermode in 3D. He's a film reviewer, and so the producer and the director the director of the film and the producer of the musical came on to promote the musical. It's on at the Lyric Hammersmith, so it's not a massively easy venue. Well, it's a pretty easy venue to get to in that it's just on the Hammersmith and City line, but it is a way out of central London. So because we were like 3 stops away on the tube, it was kind of ideal for us to go. Basically a story about this kid who falls in love with a girl that he meets on the street, and he pretends he's in a band to impress her, to get her to be in the music video. And it's set in Ireland, in like one of Ireland's depressions, particularly in Dublin, and so that's a real like backdrop to the story of like the recession in the 80s. And it's a really difficult story actually. Like all the characters have a lot of like major issues. I don't think that the musical is a perfect adaptation of the film, even though I haven't seen the film, but you can kind of get enough of a sense. It struggled, I think, to tell all of the story in the time that it can fit into a musical. Like it would have some scenes that were really short just to cover a major plot point, but then obviously it's trying to interweave like musical songs in, and those went on way too long. It just were not needed. And then they would also end very abruptly, so that was also like a bit odd, because it would be like, oh, you know, in the way that I guess like some music tracks probably end abruptly because you're like meant to be listening on the radio, and they would like interweave with other songs. Well, it doesn't work in a musical, it just ends. And so we didn't even know when to clap, so that was not clear. The performances were really good, they were clearly having the time of their lives, and it was act musician, and we always love watching musicians on stage, but I think it does need a bit of work. It's got very mixed reviews across the board, but I think that 3 stars is a very fair review for this show. It does need some more work, but I think the essence of what it's trying to do is really fun. The audience really liked it. It was a really appreciative audience, so really good for them. It was definitely a fun evening. We also then didn't get home until very late, because where I live, trains are a bit of a pain at that time of night. But in kind of a blessing, I did end up meeting up with my husband at King's Cross, so we did end up on the same train, so that kind of worked than if I had managed to get an earlier train. But we didn't get home until 12:20, and then I got up this morning for aerobics at 9. So yeah, I think it's just the days, they're just catching up on me a little bit, and I'm due on my period as well, so like I think my body is just crying out. So I'm going to go and have a bath, have a little bit of rest time, and I really need to read more of The Girlfriend Agreement, because I took my Kindle with me yesterday and only read on one of my tube rides, which meant I only read for maybe 15 minutes. I'm really struggling to make my way through this book, which is why I still haven't spoken about it. I didn't speak about it in the first one because I wanted to wait until the end of the book to give my full thoughts, which I would not normally do, but I just feel that would be better for me in this particular book's case. But it's taken me so long to get through that doesn't really make for great content. So I'm going to see how much I can get through in the bath now, and then see where the evening takes me. I don't really know what I'm going to do. Stuart will have D&D this evening online, so I will have like quiet time. Love my husband, but you know, I will have some quiet time in that sense. So I just need to work out what on earth I'm going to do with it. I have finished the book. I have been reading this since the 7th of July, and today is the 23rd. So it's been a while, friends, that I've been reading this one for. So because I have not given a summary at any point, let me do that, and then I will try to be as coherent as I can be with my thoughts about a book I do not think I am particularly coherent about, but I've written my Goodreads review and I felt that got some of the energy out, so hopefully it will come across even more coherent on video. We have Damien and Lexi, and Damien just doesn't care about anything. He doesn't care about school, he doesn't care about his friends, he doesn't care about any of the women that he sleeps with. He is the billionaire heir to a pharmaceutical company, and he's expecting to inherit this. You know, at the beginning of the book, there's clearly something that has made him be this just ambivalent to life. But anyway, at the beginning, he's a very angry person, and really a lot of the focus is about how much he just doesn't care about all of these things. His friend Mason bets him that he should basically like complete this list of convincing a load of different girls that he fancies them to sleep with them, to tick them off a list. One of these girls is Lexi, who is a scholarship kid at the university. She's incredibly gifted at maths, and you know, they have a fun one night stand together, but ultimately it was just for the list, and Damien does not remember her. He's completely blanked her from his mind. We open at the first scene in the middle of a sex scene, which was and I'll read some up, that's fine, but it was a bit much when we opened it in the first scene. But we open with that, and neither of them have any idea who the other person is. Lexi is like blind drunk, and I didn't love a lot of the representation of drink, and actually I didn't put that in my review, and the lack of consequences, I think, in some respects for poor choices while drinking. But I say that as a non-drinker, so just for some clarity there. So neither of them remember who the other one is, and then they wake up in chapter 2, and Damien is like, cool, I really liked this girl. But Lexi is like, oh my god, I remember who he is now. I've already been here. I've already kicked this guy in the balls for, you know, what he did for me before. I'm going to do that again, and then I'm going to get out of here. They obviously at this point think they're never going to cross paths again, but Damien's parents at this point are like, you need to change your life in order to inherit the business. We need to see you being more serious. And he decides that the way that he's going to convince them is to get a long-term girlfriend for like a year or like 9 months. And he puts an advert on Craigslist, and Lexi is pretty desperate for money. Her mum is in the depths of cancer treatment, and because this book is set in the US, it's incredibly expensive to get treatment, and Lexi, she really needs the money, and she's very desperate, and she doesn't want to take any charity from her billionaire friends, because everyone is a billionaire in this story other than Lexi, but she doesn't want to take any charity. And then she sees this Craigslist ad to be somebody's fake girlfriend, and she's like, yeah, I can do that, that's not a problem. And then it turns out to be for Damien. But ultimately, Damien got no other interest on his Craigslist ad, and he's like, Lexi, I really need you. I need somebody who is going, you know, who's going to impress my parents and is going to be willing to do this. And it's paying $15,000 a month. So Lexi's like, yeah, actually, I do really need to do this. Let's do it. Lexi doesn't ever tell Damien why she wants to do this, and you know, that comes out through the story. That's basically what you need to know. It's a fake dating romance. If you don't know anything about me, I love a fake dating romance. It's my favorite trope, and I felt like Rowan Croft, the author, did a really good job in this one of giving a reason, as much as there can be a reason for a fake date to make sense. I felt like this book did have that. It's a well-written book. I think it's too long. I don't know how long it is. I've not checked, but it definitely felt long. If it wasn't actually longer than 300 pages, it felt longer. It felt like a 400. And personally, I don't really want my romances to go on for this long. There's a lot of inner turmoil for these characters. There's a lot of back and forward. There's a lot of like, do they now have feelings to me? Do they not have feelings? And that does happen in a fake date. But if these two had communicated with each other a bit earlier, we could have just edited out some of this. So I think it could it could do with being a little bit shorter. But, you know, it deals with a lot of really difficult topics. Damien is dealing with a lot of grief, which I won't go into because that doesn't really get confirmed until sort of 50% of the way through. But I felt that was handled really well. In the author's note, Rowan said that they have experienced grief, and they have also had a parent go through cancer. And I felt like the lived experience of the author really came through in this book. It was handled with a lot of care. As somebody who has had a parent with cancer, it was very close to home for me to read. And yeah, I thought the author did such a good job with that. The characters are really fleshed out. There's a lot of backstory with both Lexi and Damien. They both have really, really full characters. They both have character arcs, especially Damien. And I think that was all handled really well. So in that sense, I really like those elements of the book. However, the first 50% of this book was not really for me. So I picked up this book because I got an Instagram ad and the cover is stunning. And also I read it was a fake date. It's a university setting. Those are like two of my favorite things. So I really, really thought I would love this. But ultimately it is an enemies to lovers. Now I do acknowledge that an enemies to lovers is not necessarily my favorite, but you know, I feel like the enemies to lovers of this is actually handled really well. And Damien's 360 personality transplant that happens from about 56% is really, really well handled. My problem is if I really, really don't like particularly a male character, it is difficult for me. And Damien is honestly just gross in the first half of the book. And I know that's the point, okay? It really, really is the point of the story. But it's a really long time that I have to read about somebody being that derogatory towards women. Like, he really only thinks about women in order to be able to sleep with them. The way that he talks about Lexi's body, I'm really uncomfortable with. It takes a really long time before he falls for Lexi. Like, we have no insta love here. You have insta lust for sure, but it takes a really long time before these two realize they have feelings for each other. And you have to go on a real journey with that to like really, really get on board. And I think the more I say this, the more I think, and I believed this when I wrote my Goodreads review, but there is absolutely an audience for this book, because I know a lot of books are like this. I know a lot of people really like an enemies to lovers. They really like a serious redemption arc. And if you are okay with reading about, you know, a guy who does not talk very nicely about women at the beginning, but then has a real turnaround, and then Lexi is the only one for him, this is a really, really good writing of that. I just really, really hated Damien and his attitude towards money, which again was the point, was really, really uncomfortable in the first 50%. To be honest, even some of the decisions that Lexi made, I found really difficult in the first half. So this book just took me a really, really long time to get through. But I do absolutely think there is an audience for this. I think a lot of people that watch this video would really like this book. So definitely check it out. I think it's coming out in July or August. So it will be out soon if it's not out already. Definitely have a read, because I do think it's really well written. I think a lot of it is really, really well handled. And a massive thank you to the author and the publisher for sending me the arc for this, because I didn't get this one through NetGalley. This was just through an Instagram ad. So yeah, thank you for sending it over. I'm sorry that it took me so long to get through. So I'm not rating it, by the way, because I feel so on the fence about what I would rate it. So I'm just not going to. I'm just not putting the pressure on myself this year. If I don't feel I can rate something, I just won't rate it. I'll just write a review about it, and I think that is perfectly justified. And honestly, I felt it was fairer on the author to not rate it, because once you rate something, you are putting it in a category, and I don't know what category I'm putting it into, so why rate it? So that is one arc done. We have several other arcs to get through. I have no idea which one I'm going to read next, and I'm not even really expecting to read a lot this week. I was thinking about it after I finished Girlfriend Agreement, that I'm not really like doing anything this week where I'm going to, I think, prioritize reading. I've not got any train rides. We're going to be driving to a wedding this weekend, and I cannot read in the car. I get so travel sick. So no reading's going to get done then. Yeah, I could read before bed, or I could read in my downtime, but I think I know myself well enough to know I won't. So I'm not really sure if we're going to get any more reading done in this video, but I guess we'll see. So it is now 8:39 on Wednesday night. I have no idea what I'm going to do for the rest of the evening. I've often been going up to bed at like just before 9 and then just scrolling on my phone for an hour. So I will try not to do that, but I would also like to not just sit here and scroll my phone. But I feel like now it's too late to like get anything else done. Like, I'd wanted to like do stuff with my planners and stuff in my time off. I actually had a massive list of videos I wanted to film in my time off, but I'm not going to get any of that done. And it's a really depressing realization that I'd taken these 3 weeks off work to reset, and it's so lovely to have all of these social plans and all these really lovely things that we're getting to do, but I also needed some time to myself, and I don't think that is going to happen so much. But anyway, we will see. We'll see what happens. We'll have a think about tomorrow and how things go then. And I'll come back to you when I have something to update on, because I can tell I'm getting rambly now. It is Saturday. I have done an absolutely terrible job at updating the vlog this week. I have felt lower this week, I think, in terms of like overall mood, but I've been on my period, so I think we can give me a little what would be the word, like hall pass. That's not the phrase I mean, but give me a hall pass for this week. What I will let you know is that I have kept to my like workout or 10,000 steps challenge this whole week. Thursday I was going to go to a gym induction so that I can sort of, you know, get a little bit more clued up on all of the facilities at my gym, but I just was not feeling that because I came on my period on Thursday, so I was like, yeah, that's not like fair on my body. So I cancelled that and moved it to Friday morning, but then the gym cancelled it on Friday morning, which is fair enough. But I did still do a workout. So there is a trainer who makes videos on YouTube called Get Fit with Rick, and I found out about him through Tabitha from No White Space Stickers, who is a planner account who's been on a fitness journey, and she mentioned Rick, and so I've done his videos a couple of times, and the one I particularly do is it's like a 5,000 steps in 30-minute video, and it's not the most like high profile workout ever, but I think it's a really, really good option for if you're trying to get your steps in a day, but also if you are looking for something that is, you know, still like quite high energy but not overly long. So I did that on Thursday, and then I did actually take a proper chill day. So go me, for the first time in all of my time off, I did actually rest. So I worked on my theatre journal for the whole day. So if you don't know, I make not a load of theatre content. I would actually really like to make more, but I make some theatre content because I have a degree in musical theatre. It's like a really big part of my life. It's like the major thing I do in my spare time, and I make a spread in my theatre journal for every production that I see, and I do film a fair number of those. Basically for anything that is like a major scale production I film, but there are a lot of things that I see that are not major scale productions. So for example, amateur theatre, or I'll go and like watch a live screening of something, like a recorded version but that they play in the cinema, so like National Theatre Live for example, or I'll go and watch like a drama school production. So I have a very varied theatre schedule, and there's no point me doing individual videos for those ones because they're not ones that people would be interested in. Like my theatre journal videos don't get a ton of views at the moment anyway, so it just wouldn't be worth it. And I also like to have some things that I do for myself that aren't on YouTube. So I was just spending the day working on spreads that are not ones that you guys will see. I might do a flip through of my channel at the end of the year. I think that would be really fun, but I won't do individual videos for them. But I literally spent the whole day doing that. Slightly stupidly, I think, because I was not sat properly. I was just sat on the floor. So I sat on the floor the whole day doing that, which was obviously not great for my body, but anyway. So yeah, that was quite good because, you know, I like got my workout out of the way in the morning and then just sat down and chilled, which the first 2 days of my period are the worst. So I think that was a really good thing to do for my body. And then yesterday, Friday, I got up and did Get Fit with Rick again. I really didn't have much energy yesterday morning, but I still got up and did it. So we're going to be really happy with me for that. It wasn't the best workout I've ever done, but it was still, you know, at the end of the day, we're trying to build the habit, and so it was done. So that's great. Oh, let's move that out of the way. Then we travelled to Bristol because we are at a wedding in Salisbury this weekend, and admittedly not really that on the way, I realised afterwards, but you know, my cousin lives in the southwest, and we decided, like, because we were kind of vaguely coming down this way, admittedly it was a big detour, but because we were coming vaguely this way, I was like, no, we should go and pop in and see her and see her daughter and my auntie and my uncle. So that was really nice to see them, but the traffic was really very sucky. Like very sucky, I guess, because it's like the first Friday of the school holidays, and so a lot of people were traveling, and it was just like, we like queued for like 15 minutes to get into the petrol station. There was so much traffic on the road, so yeah, it did take us longer than we expected, but we had a really lovely time, and it was really nice to spend a bit of time with them. And then we came to Salisbury, and we had such an awful journey to Salisbury because basically a road got closed because of a collision, and obviously we're not from Salisbury and don't know all of the roads, and Google Maps was like, yeah, there's a similar ETA if you turn off right here. So I was like, oh yeah, let's do it, just turn off there. And it was one of those roads that's like not big enough for 2 cars, and you're sort of constantly in parking spaces, and that's fine if you've got 1 or 2 cars, not with all of the traffic from this major A road. It was so stressful. I'm so impressed with Stuart for how he coped, because my least favourite part of driving is that kind of road. I just like completely freak out. So yeah, thank God I was not driving, and very proud of him for how he dealt with that. We eventually got to Salisbury, and we then went to the cinema to see Fantastic Four, because it's the opening weekend of Fantastic Four. So we were like, well, they've got an Everyman cinema. We don't have an Everyman cinema where I live. And if you've not been to an Everyman cinema before, they are super fancy. You have like sofas, and you can order food. So like we got a little pizza and some tapas, and you can have like fancier drinks and stuff like that. So it's a really fun experience. And I've sort of said to Stuart, like, I really think that me and him need to try and like schedule in some more date nights. So it was a really fun like date night with him. My review of Fantastic Four. So for context, I am not like the biggest Marvel fan or superhero fan, but I have seen pretty much every Marvel movie. I did grow up watching them. Like, you know, I was a big fan of like the phase 1 and all the Avengers and all that sort of thing. So like I am a pretty big fan in that sense. And I actually love the original Fantastic, well, not the original, I'm sure there were others, but in my generation, the original Fantastic Four movie with Chris Evans as the Human Torch. Like I had a poster of him up in my bedroom. I was a big fan of that version. And I actually don't mind the Miles Teller version even. I know that one was like really critically not well received, but I actually didn't mind that version. So, but I was like still fine for us to have a new version, and I really like Vanessa Kirby. This version, in my opinion, is not that strong, and it's very rare for me to say I don't like a Marvel movie, but I really felt this one was quite average. I felt that the story just wasn't really a superhero story. I understand what they were trying to get at. To give you like a brief synopsis, this is not a Fantastic Four origin story. They already have their powers, and it's really glossed over how they got their powers. It's briefly mentioned, but it's really not the point of the story. Vanessa and Susan and Reed, so like Mr. Fantastic, and I actually don't know what Susan's character's, like her superhero name is, because that is literally never mentioned. They have been trying for a baby, and then they end up getting pregnant, and at the same time somebody, a villain, comes to Earth saying that they are going to eat the Earth, and the Fantastic Four go into space to confront them about it. And then they say, oh well, I want your baby, because your baby is going to like be the saving grace of like, basically the villain wants to take the baby because I guess it's hinting that the baby's a villain. I don't really know, and I think that will come back in other films. And it's then about the Fantastic Four having to deal with like, do we sacrifice our baby for the good of the Earth, or can we save the Earth as well? And I just like, there just wasn't a lot of fighting. It was a lot of like
I don't know, emotional discussion about like whether the Fantastic Four's baby is more important than saving an entire planet and all this kind of thing. And they're like watching like Vanessa Kirby's character, like Susan Storm, as a mother make decisions about whether she's going to give up her own baby or save the planet. And I don't know, I just didn't think it was great, to be honest. But Stuart really liked it, so what do I know, because he's an actual superhero fan. After that, we came back to this Holiday Inn, which is where we're staying before the wedding. This morning we got up, had some breakfast. I've done another Get Fit with Rick video because I felt like it was an easy one to do just in a hotel room, and I actually felt really good doing it this morning, like, because I mean, obviously when you're at a hotel, the sort of breakfast you get is like you eat more than you should eat and this kind of thing. I don't know if anybody else suffers from that, but I definitely do. But it was nice to like get up and do the workout and feel like, oh, look at me go. I still got up and got that in, because realistically I don't think we're going to hit 10,000 steps at the wedding, though it is an outdoor wedding, so maybe we will. But yeah, so then I had a shower, and now I am trying to work out what on earth I am going to do with my hair. So I have curly hair, as you can tell, and I know that some people are going to be horrified by the fact I'm straightening my hair, and I'm sorry about that, but I most of the time really don't do anything with my hair. I wear my hair curly 95% of the time, but I do like the feeling of having my hair curled rather than curly for special occasions, and that's not because I don't think that curly hair can look nice or anything like that. It's just my personal preference. Sometimes it's nice to have my hair done because I do have quite wild curly hair, but I don't know why I thought having a shower this morning and washing my hair was a good idea, because ultimately my hair takes ages to dry. So I've had to use a hairdryer, which I hate doing because it makes my hair really frizzy. And now what I'm trying to do is do like a rough straighten to just get rid of the frizz, and then I will go back in and curl it with my curlers. I would love to be able to curl it with my straighteners because my hairdresser does that and it always looks so cute, but ultimately I think curling it with my curlers is going to be quicker. Stuart is at Stonehenge because he didn't really want to sit here while I was just doing my hair, so he's gone to Stonehenge for the morning. And then yeah, we will be heading to the wedding. It is Stuart's school friend. I am anxious because I have only met him and his partner once, which was at my wedding. And obviously if you've been married, you'll know you don't really speak to people, like you're trying to get around so many people at your wedding. Like I did have a brief conversation with David and Seth, but not a massive conversation because you just don't have the opportunity for it. And they seem absolutely lovely, and obviously Stuart wants to be here and so we're here, and it was lovely of them to include us in the wedding. But we will not know anyone else. I think Stuart will know David's parents because they went to school together, but my husband is 37, nearly 38, and so I don't really think that you know, it's been a long time since he's seen them, so I am anxious. Like obviously weddings are such a lovely day and you do have a sort of formula to follow and that helps, but weddings where you don't know anybody are, in my opinion, quite a stressful thing. And obviously that would have been the same for David and Steph when they came to our wedding, but we had more people that they would know. I think we had a couple of other people that they might know. So yeah, I don't know, I am anxious, but I'm hoping it's going to be a lovely day. Let me show you my nails. So I hate doing my own nails. I know I could pay to have my nails done, but I've literally only ever had my nails done once. I need to use my fun money for other things. So I painted my nails in 3 different colours because my dress, I'll maybe put a picture on screen or I'll put a clip of me in it, I guess. But my dress has lots of different colours in it, and my handbag is like a light pink. So yeah, I went for this like mixed summery colour, and I've had to repaint them like 3 times because they keep getting ruined, but I am happy with them now. I think that they look cute, and I'm really happy with the outfit that I got because the whole thing is from Vinted, like my dress and my bag. I was trying to get shoes from Vinted as well, but I ended up not liking them, so I am wearing just shoes I had already. But yeah, I'm like really happy with my purchase. I love the dress I'm wearing. So yeah, I think that's probably about it, and I will come back to you, I guess, tomorrow to give you my final updates. But I guess, you know, in terms of the challenge, well, the workout challenge anyway, I'm doing pretty well with that this week. I haven't read a single thing, so the reading challenge is out the window for this week. And I haven't taken time off social media, but I think I have reduced it. I've been a bit more conscious about not scrolling indefinitely, so we can take that as a win, I think.
this is a terrible angle, but I can't be bothered to go anywhere else. So it is Sunday night now. We had a really lovely time at the wedding. I feel like I actually did really well. Obviously the wedding is about these two lovely people that we celebrated. Because the point of these vlogs is about these like mental health check-ins and things like that, I do just want to give myself a little bit of a shout out for how well I think I did at the wedding, because I never really give myself kudos when I have those good days where I battle my social anxiety. It's that particular branch of my anxiety comes out of this kind of thing. I really didn't know anybody at this wedding other than the grooms, and I'd only met them once at my own wedding, so this was quite a big deal for me to go to this. And obviously I wanted to go to support them and support my husband, who, you know, was obviously the real reason we were going. This is like his childhood friend who was getting married, and it was never a question that I didn't want to go. It was more just I was anxious about how I would cope with it. But I actually feel like I did really well. We saw some other another childhood friend of Stuart's and his wife. They were super lovely, and I felt like I did a good job at managing to like keep up conversation and keep positive. Lots of like random family members were coming up and saying hello, and at the end of the day, weddings are a super positive occasion, aren't they? So I think I shouldn't probably have ever been worried about it, but I worry about everything, and so I was worried about it, but I actually think I did really well. And it was a really fun wedding. The couple are really very fun people, so like there was a silent disco, which I've never done, and that was really cool, and there was a band and things like that. So yeah, it was a really fun day. So then today we had a little bit of a lie-in at the hotel. I had some breakfast and then drove home, had some dinner. It just all of that just took time. We weren't really sort of like settled and back chilling until like 3:30, 4 o'clock today. It's just the nature, isn't it, of when you go away, kind of everything gets delayed. We didn't have anything in for lunch and stuff like that. And I actually worked on my theatre journal a bit more today, which I was working on earlier in the week. So I'm trying to do all the spreads that I won't film. So I got another 3 done today, not masses, but it took me a while to get into it. I've definitely had a very anxious day. I've had quite a few panic attacks and things, which are all normal for me. Like, you don't need to worry about it or anything. It is normal, but it's obviously always a bit of a downer when that happens. I didn't do my workout today, so once again I have failed on the Sunday, which is very, very me to give up by a Sunday. So that is a shame, but I just, like, yes, I could have fit it in when we got home, but I just, like, I think I've got some other various health things going on in addition to my mental health things, and it just didn't happen today. But I'm not going to berate myself for that, because this is still such a big step forward for me to have even managed 6 out of 7 days. Like, ultimately we do need rest days as well. I think you really need a rest day from like a low level workout and 10,000 steps, don't get me wrong, but from where I'm taking my body at this like such a base small level to building it up, I do feel like that is going to be an adjustment for me. And, you know, I do feel like the aches of aerobics and stuff like that. So whilst it wasn't like the total success I wanted to be, we're still so much better than it was before. So I'm gonna still give myself that win. I don't think I read a single thing this whole week. I'm just not in my reading era right now. I don't honestly think I'm gonna get much reading done in week 3 of this vlog series, because it's just not how I want to be spending my free time right now. But we'll see. Check out next week's vlog to see what happens there. For week 3, I definitely want to keep up the 10,000 steps and or a workout. I have like worked out where I'm going to the gym next week. I won't be going to the gym tomorrow on Monday 28th because it's my birthday, but we will be doing 10,000 steps, I expect, because we are heading into London. So if I head into London, 10,000 steps is pretty achievable. So that we're definitely going to carry on into week 3. The reading, I think we're just going to have to let that one go. As great as it would have been to have finished all those arcs, who did I think I was to think I could get that done right now in this really bizarre reading slump that I'm in? But the other thing that I think I have not made any progress on in the last 2 weeks is on the social media. So yes, I have withdrawn a bit from social media, but like today, I've definitely had a bad social media day where I've been scrolling in a lot of my free time, and there is definitely a link between social media and my panic attacks. So I think what I am going to try and do is have my birthday, because, you know, I don't really want to not be on social media on my birthday. Like, I won't really have time to check in on my phone, but obviously people might message. And then I'm going to take the rest of the week off. I think if I say that now, we're going to do it. We're going to take the time away, because if I go back to work still feeling this way about social media, I think it won't be great. I've seen a lot of people who are doing like taking August off social media, and I'm sort of tempted by that, but it feels a really big thing to like advance commit to having a month off social media. And I think I would be fine in many ways to have Instagram off. It's more annoying because like there are various things that sometimes I need to be on Facebook on for like announcements and stuff. And I actually hate Facebook, but there are like announcements and stuff that I need to see on there. But I don't know. I used to have the Facebook app deleted from my phone, and then I put it back on, and I really should delete that. So maybe that's what I can do, is delete the Instagram app and then delete Facebook, but check in on it occasionally on the laptop. I don't know, we'll see. I need to have a bit more of a think about that, but let's not think about August right now. Let's think about just going into week 3, and I think that's what we'll do. So do come back maybe this time next week if I manage to edit the vlog in time for the 3rd installment of this series. And don't think that I feel necessarily quite as upbeat or positive at the end of this week than I did of week 1, but the fact that I have been able to celebrate some wins, I think, is still really good. And tomorrow on my birthday, we're going to be starting the day with therapy, so hopefully we can you know, keep addressing those like celebrating the wins things. So I'm not really sure how good this vlog was overall. I didn't take nearly as much b-roll as the first vlog. I'm not sure what this is or what I've said or how it's going to come together in editing, but I hope that you've enjoyed it anyway. I'm hoping you'll enjoy the 3rd one in the series because it will include my birthday, which I have some fun stuff planned for my birthday, so we'll have some fun with that anyway. If you did enjoy this video, I would really appreciate a like, and if you haven't already, I would love it if you'd subscribe. Thank you for all of the positive comments on the first video, which is up now from when Real Life Cat is filming this. Thank you to those of you who have like checked in and sent messages and that kind of thing. I'm not sure that I am responding to them in my most coherent way right now, but thank you for your patience and grace while I navigate this next season of my life. So yeah, thank you for all of that engagement, and if you haven't subscribed before, obviously I would love it if you would join the little family that we have over here. I will have links to various things in the description, and that will include my Instagram where I post various things, though maybe not in the upcoming week, I guess, and I will also have a link to my Goodreads where I'm not reading, so now is absolutely not the best time to follow me on there. So that was a really poor promotion of my social media channels because they might be dead right now, but hey, if you want to be involved in that, come on over. Otherwise, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.